Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and I am back today for Hip Kit Club and I am using the November kits. I'm so happy that my November kits have finally arrived. So I have all of them. I have the main kit, the Pocket Life kit, the embellishment kit and the colour kit, as well as I also have extra papers and the cardstock kit too. So I'm playing with all of them today, all of them. I was so excited, I had to use everything. So I'm using the December mood board, so it's the 1st of December today it's the first time anyone has used this mood board and it's designed by me. Obviously it's completely fabulous because it is designed by me. I'm joking. And I'm also using the Hexagon Wreath cut file that was designed by Annette. I've cut the Hexagon cut file 3 times. At the time of recording this video, this cut file is not available on the website, but it will be up very soon, I'm told. So I have cut it 3 times out of pink cardstock. That was one of the cardstock that was in the cardstock kit this month. And I have cut it 3 times in 3 different sizes, so small, medium, large, and I've cut it, as I say, out of the pink. I've then also cut just the outline only from 3 different pattern papers. So I've gone for the wood grain, I've gone for the pink triangles, and I've gone for the stars. Really, really pretty papers, and I was kind of going for a soft Christmassy look. I wanted to be inspired by the colours in the mood board, and there wasn't much red in the mood board, so I struggled slightly there. But there were stars, there were hexagons, there was wood grain. So I've taken lots from the mood board, lots and lots. So yeah, the hexagons, I really struggled. Once I'd cut them, I really struggled to arrange them. I had a vision of them kind of cascading down the centre of the layout, but they just weren't working because it took me ages to get it right. I did eventually get there. So I'm just still fiddling around trying to figure out what to do with my hexagons. That looks good, I'm happy there. And then this is the main thing. I put my photos at the bottom together rather than on 2 separate hexagons, because that's what I was trying to do, but it just wasn't working. So the 2 together at the bottom work really well, kind of grounds them. This hexagon cut file is so pretty with the kind of holly spray leaves on 2 sides. So pretty, and it's just totally perfect to add embellishments to those clusters. So I've got loads of them to add embellishments to, as you can see. Right now I'm just figuring out what I'm doing, where my placement's going to go for my photos, my hexagons, and I've also mounted my 2 photos on 2 Pocket Life cards. I've just chosen to, I looked at a red one to begin with, it wasn't quite right. I wanted to bring in a small amount of red, so I went for the kind of candy stripe one to mount my right hand photo, and then a blue one to mount the left photo. I've got blue in my photos, that's why I chose those photos, because of the top right image on the mood board, I wanted to bring in the bluish tones from the mood board as well. Now that I've got my photos and hexagons in the right places, I can start sticking everything down. So I think all my hexagons are stuck in place now, my photos are stuck down. I really wanted to include that reindeer from the ephemera pack, but he was huge, so he did not look right over on the right hand side of my photos. So I've tucked him in there at the top, so he loses his front legs a little bit, but he still looks like a reindeer to me, so I'm good with that. I'm just going through the ephemera now, trying to figure out what pieces will work, what I want to use. Other than stars and hearts and snowflakes, baubles and things, there isn't much by way of images on the mood board, so I didn't have to, and a Christmas tree. So I wanted to include the Christmas trees, but there wasn't anything like reindeers or Santas or anything like that on the mood board. I was just conscious of including some of the shapes and making my layout kind of in keeping with the feel of the mood board. So I've added a Christmas tree over on the right hand side. I will add some more trees later on as well. Just pondering my title at this point, so trying to figure out what title I should use. So my daughter here is currently in a garden centre. She was singing in her school choir as the official opening ceremony of Santa's Grotto at this local garden centre. So it's beautifully decorated, so we wandered around for a little bit beforehand and had a look at all the displays and decorations. So that's what these photos are about. And I say she's just about to sing to officially open the Santa's Grotto, which is a really nice thing for her to do, and really nice for me to go and watch, and made for some great photos as well. So this was one of the displays. So this is a reindeer, and he was moving and everything right next to a big Santa's sleigh with a nice kind of wintry background. So it's a really, really lovely setting. So gorgeous photos. Okay, so I'm just moving on to my embellishing my holly wreaths on the hexagons, and I've pulled out some of the holly leaves from the die cut flowers, and I've tucked them behind and some in front of the holly leaves on the hexagon wreaths. I've also pulled out some other flowers too, some pops of red here and there. I didn't want the layout to be overly red because, say, red wasn't particularly present in the mood board, so I was trying to limit that. So I was trying to focus on the pinks, the greens, the blues, and kind of like the wood grains, rather than the red. So even though I love the red, so I should have included red in my mood board, shouldn't I? I don't know why I didn't. Really love these holly wood veneers. When you see them on the picture, when we saw the images for the kits, I didn't really know what they were. I hadn't figured out that they were, at first look anyway, certainly hadn't figured out that they were wood veneer, and they're so lovely in real life. So much better, or the picture of them in theory doesn't actually do them justice. It's like a digital image rather than the actual image of them, and so they don't. It doesn't really do it justice. So they are really gorgeous. They're all the same. I think they're all holly leaves, 2 holly leaves together with some berries. So yeah, just carrying on here. I wanted to include snowflakes and hearts on my layout because both of those are present on the mood board. The wood works really well. That's both the wood veneer and the wood grain paper that's behind the biggest hexagon at the bottom, because wood grain appears on the layout too. So I'm just going in, adding some flowers, adding some pops of colour behind those areas where I have the holly leaves on the wreaths. So just continuing with those, getting everything stuck in place. I'm trying to raise as many as I can up on foam pads, but just because I like my layouts to have lots of dimension. That middle hexagon there, I hadn't stuck it down properly, so I'd stuck it flat at the bottom, but I hadn't raised it up at the top, so I just added in some foam pads there. The reason I did that was because I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to tuck anything else in behind it before I actually stuck it, but I'm far enough along now to be sticking things down. So I'm just working on my title now. So I've gone for something magical, which is one of the ones on the phrase stickers there. I like the different fonts. So the something is in a dark kind of navy, and the second one, magical, is on a little red banner, different font, really lovely. I love the mix of fonts on that sheet. Really nice set of phrases and words. So carrying on now, just keeping going. I've just gone through and sewn through with silver thread on my sewing machine. That's something, because I was worried that it was going to ping off. Certainly the word thing, the H sits on top of a puffy snowflake and on top of a puffy the magical banner, so it really wasn't sticking at all. So sewing through that with silver thread on the sewing machine means that will stay in place. I absolutely adore these bows. They are fabric bows. We've had them before, but in different colorways, and they're so nice. I really love every single one in the set that we had before, so I'm delighted to have them again. So I'm just making up that navy plaid one there, and that's going to sit at the bottom of my layout. I'm just sticking that with glossy accents just to make sure that it all stays completely in place. And now I just wanted to add some final details to this layout. So I wanted to add enamel dots, but I didn't have any, or sequins, but I didn't have any of those either. So I had to go and find the small bits and pieces from the kits. So I found some small puffy dots on one of the sticker sheets. And now I'm just mixing up some of the Lindy's pink, I think it's called Papa pink, and mix up a really small amount of that with some water, and added some some splatters in various points around the layout. And then I realised that I hadn't done my journaling, and it was a bit tricky once I'd splattered and I had wet paint on my layout to do my journaling. So that's why I'm kind of a bit hesitant and a slightly strange angle. Yeah, I've managed to just about fit it all in. Went a bit wonky because I couldn't lean my arm on the layout. Silly me. You'd think I would know by now, wouldn't you, the things to do. Anyway, that is me done. So thank you very, very much for joining me today. I hope you love the November kits as much as I do. They really are amazing. The whole lot is exclusive and they're just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, and a pleasure to create with. So thank you so much for joining me. That was Niki Rowland for Hip Kit Club.